Hey guys, it's me, Gabe. It's Sunday. Today's the football game. Today's the football game. So sorry, I don't know. Anyways, so my care owner turned me on to an idea. Why don't you read one of your books? He said, or magazines. So basically, I'm gonna read you one of my magazines. Kind of give you a reflection. Basically, I'm gonna post this video here later. Hopefully. Excuse me. So, anyways, God, now comes the fun part. Ooh. You know what? I'm gonna turn off the damn light. Everybody's like, well, why don't you just use natural lighting? That's what I'm gonna do. Yeah, sorry, people. I'm not used to using natural lighting or anything like that. Everybody's wondering, why does my voice sound like that? Why does my voice sound like I have stuffed up nose? Well, I just blew a hell of a lot of fucking shit out of my nose. Yeah, I was kind of sitting here thinking, and I had a little emotional feelings and stuff like that come up. But anyways, enough talking about my emotional feelings. Come on, let's get into this. So, I'm going to read you, it's a log trucker magazine. Everybody's like, oh boy, here you go, he's going to talk about it. No, I'm not going to talk about it. I'm actually going to read it to y'all. Everybody's like, what? You're going to read it? I'm like, yeah, I'm going to tell you. Yeah, I'm reading it. Now comes the fun part, picking one out. Yeah. Now comes the fun part, picking one out. So, shit. I actually want to read a Loggers World magazine myself. I don't fucking know. Man. It's kind of hard to. You basically look for one, and then it's kind of hard to pick one out. It sucks because it's like you're sitting there and you're looking for it, and you think to yourself, what the hell, might as well read this one. So I'm going to read a magazine. It's called Loggers World magazine called Olympic Timber. This is a couple. This is Olympic Timber. Sorry. That's Olympic Timber, and everybody's what year is it published? In July of 2022. Everybody's like, why don't you just throw them out, the old ones out? I will do no such thing. I don't throw out magazines. I'm sorry. I have a thing about Loggers World magazines. I have never thought about, throwing them out or anything like that. So here we go. We're going to get into this. So, everybody's wondering, why am I going to read? Well, like I said, Karen got me onto this idea, so it's a way to pass the time. Anyways, so here we go. So, God, there's a lot of damn pollen. Okay, so it takes two. Jill and Tom Carter are husband and wife duo out in the woods. So here we go. Jill and Tom Carter are husband and wife, but they are also co-workers. The two run Olympic Timber and Excavation out of Cedarville, Washington, which handles small ground-based logging jobs, usually for scarpered, I can't really say the word, scrapered timber, as well as other private and commercial companies. Jill runs the skidder and does the hand and bucking on the landing, while Tom runs the shovel and keeps the landing in order. While they also have a diverse operation, they have also done fish pipe work on land clearing, bridge building, and more. Okay. I always liked playing in the creeks as a kid. So it was a lot of fun, Tom said. And we knew, so we're going to continue on page 4. Alright, here we go. Page 4. Do's and don'ts of working around the streams and did some good work. We ended up making a pretty big structure for South Puget Sound of Salmon and have a great relationship of a little different organizations. From private driveways to bridges on access roads, and the work are varied. Interesting. However, the logging industry eventually came calling. Jill's parents, Dave and Jeannie Purcell, owned the Olympia log yard, and growing up, she and her brother Ron worked in the yard and would also go out and help her dad in the forestry business. So, her brother Ron and the forestry business. Tom was heavily involved in the rodeo in the mid 1980s. 1980s and late 1990s, bullfighting and keeping cowboys safe while also doing construction work. The two met each other, and their first date was at a horse auction. Tom ran. Okay, I gotta put my glasses back on for this. Tom ran a cat on different farms and learned how to run heavy equipment like that from his uncle. He also did some land clearing and eventually ended up working for Jill's dad, Dave, doing timber sales and building roads and land clearing. After getting married, the two started the business in 1999. That primarily focused on fish pipes and bridges and learned land clearing, and if some logging was needed, Jill and Tom would typically subcontract out. Around the 2002, Olympic Timber started full-time logging, and some opportunities were made available for steady work, and went from there. And Tom had a couple of logging outfits before, and Jill had run the crew from her dad. And when it came to falling Christmas trees, so they weren't strangers to the woods. Sorry, people. Around 2005, after staying at home to raise two sons, Wyatt and Cole, Jill began moving full-time out in the woods, and the two have been going strong ever since. The company runs a 3400 link. We're going to go to page 7. Link belt road builder and Cat 515 grapple skidder. They got a 2018 Dan's Code delimber and a 608L Timberjack buncher. And the link belt has several attachments, can be changed from shovel to an excavator if needed for the other types of work. When it comes to getting the machines, Olympic Timber has bought from both dealers and private individuals. They do most of the maintenance, but when they do need a specialized mechanic, they go to Kevin Beaver of Beaver's Trucking and Equipment Repair. Industrial specialities out of Hollis, and also supplies the company with hydraulics. We had a grapple cat previously, and when we had we decided to downsize to just ourselves. We yarded and shovel logged with it, and Jill said, I was really excited when we got the skidder, and as it was more fun to operate, I even named it Leroy after the song "Save a Horse, Ride a Cowboy." They typically do work for Scrapper Timber and family-owned corporation with a tree farm and several other parcels. Olympic Timber still does processing by hand, saws, and steels to get their logs ready for hauling. They can do bigger job of 4 to 50 acres with a subcontract, but we're gonna go to 13. Here we go, 13. 13. There's Leroy. Good photo opportunity. Typically do a 10 to 20 acres of jaws. My dad had worked for Scrapper planting trees and spraying and doing forest work, Jill said. We have known them a long time and enjoy working for them. So I'm going to stop there because it's not long, but we're almost to the end of the time on my tablet. So here's the thing. I'm going to tell you a little history about my mom's grandpa. My great grandpa Tyler, okay? He owned 3,000 acres of land. And these guys are doing 10 to 20 acres of land, logging it, right? Mind you, like I said, my great grandpa Tyler, he owned 3,000 acres of land. Not one, but 3,000 acres of land. And you know what? He picked a group of trees and he logged it and he bucked it himself, and he did that all by himself. No help at all. A lot of people would walk up to my great grandpa Tyler and ask him for work, and he said, "No, I'll do it myself." So, and here's my point to all this. 10 to 20 acres, that's not that much in today's world. Mind you, my great grandpa was in his 90s and 1970s. He was 98 when he passed away. But he didn't look that old and he didn't act that old, because why? A lot of people at that age up in the woods, they still worked and they still breathed logging. But here's my point out of all of this. Now here's the point. Point is, a lot of people, what they do not realize is, in today's world, that in 3,000 acres in today's world, that's a lot of land. And that was back in the 1970s. That was back in that world. Today's world, that's not that much. Because it's basically the size of lands that people can log, it's shrunk. Completely shrunk. So now it's like 10 to 20 acres of land. And that's it. I can understand why, because it's a whole different world back then than it is now. But mind you, my great-grandpa sold his 3,000 acres, and he stood on the 1,000 acre he had left. He had 1,000 acres left, and he had his logging, he had his shop, he had his gas station. Everything was still there. And now it's all gone, and everything's gone, So it's like, logging today, it's changed. It's more, mechanized, basically. So, anyways, I'm going to upload this video right now, and I will be doing a second video here in a little while when this video is done uploading. Anyways, I'll talk to y'all here in a little while, people. Bye.